Ladies and gentlemen, pain is not the proof of your weakness, it is the evidence of your growth. My friends, I want you to understand this with all your heart. Every ache you have felt, every tear that has rolled down your cheek, every moment when you thought you could not stand another minute, those were not the signs that you were losing. Those were the signs that something sacred was being built inside of you. Pain does not come to destroy you, it comes to refine you. It is the fire that removes what no longer belongs, the sculptor's hand that shapes you into a truer, stronger version of yourself. When life places you in the heat of struggle, it is not trying to break you down, it is trying to reveal what you are made of. I know there are times when pain feels unbearable, when it whispers that you have reached the end. But my dear, the end is only the beginning wearing a disguise. You see, pain is one of God's greatest teachers. It does not speak in the language of comfort. It speaks in the language of transformation. You may not always understand it while you are in it, but later, when you look back, you will see that the very thing that hurt you the most also taught you the most. It carved out space within you for more compassion, more wisdom, more courage, and more love. Pain is not a punishment, it is a process, a sacred invitation to rise higher than the place you fell from. Think of the seed that must be buried beneath the soil before it can rise into the light. In that darkness, the seed does not curse the soil for its heaviness. It does not cry because it cannot see the sun. It simply surrenders to the process. It breaks open, and in that breaking, something new is born. That is you. You are that seed. You are being buried only so that you can grow. You are breaking not because you are weak, but because new life is pushing its way through you. The breaking is not the end. It is the beginning of your becoming. And yet the world has taught us to fear pain, to run from it, to numb it, to hide it behind a smile. But healing cannot happen in hiding. Growth cannot come from avoidance. When you deny your pain, you deny your growth. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. And so when pain knocks at your door, do not turn it away. Sit with it. Ask it what it came to teach you. You might be surprised by its wisdom. You might discover that what you thought was your curse is actually your calling. Because every wound carries within it a lesson, and every lesson has the power to make you whole. There is strength in the moments that tried to break you. When you were left alone in the dark, when you felt forgotten, when you thought nobody saw your tears. Those were the moments when your soul was being strengthened in secret. You may not have seen it then, but heaven saw it. The universe was watching as you kept walking, even when your legs trembled. That is not weakness. That is power. The kind of power that no one can take from you because it was born out of pain, not out of privilege. Sometimes the pain you experience is simply life, preparing you for the blessings that are coming. You cannot hold greatness with untested hands. You cannot carry purpose without first carrying pain. Pain stretches you. It makes room inside you for greater things. It teaches you empathy. It teaches you patience. It teaches you humility. It teaches you to appreciate peace once it arrives. And that is why those who have suffered deeply also love deeply. Those who have been broken open also shine the brightest, because the light can finally pass through the cracks. When you face pain, do not see it as a punishment. See it as a preparation. Each hardship is shaping your character, chiseling away the false layers, revealing the diamond that has been hiding beneath all along. Diamonds are made under pressure. Gold is refined through fire. Flowers bloom after rain. You too are growing through every storm. And though you may not see the beauty of it now, One day you will look back and realize that the pain you feared most became the very foundation of your strength. I want you to remember, my friend, that weakness is not when you cry, when you stumble, or when you feel lost. Weakness is when you give up on yourself. But you haven't given up. You're still here, still breathing, still trying. And that means you are growing. Every time you get back up after being knocked down, every time you forgive when it would be easier to hate, every time you choose hope instead of despair, you are proving that you are stronger than you think. Pain may have visited you, but it did not destroy you. It woke you up to the power that was always within you. There is beauty in the breaking. There is purpose in the pain. Sometimes it is the only thing that slows us down long enough to listen to our own heart. Sometimes pain is the voice of your soul saying, you are ready for change. You see, comfort can keep you stagnant, but pain pushes you forward. It shakes you out of the illusion that life is meant to be easy. Growth is not easy. Healing is not easy. Becoming is not easy. But all of it is worth it, because on the other side of that pain is freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from old wounds, freedom from the chains that kept you small. I have met people who were gentle, kind, wise, and full of love. And when I asked them where their wisdom came from, they smiled and said, from pain. They had suffered, but they did not let suffering define them. They let it shape them. They learned how to turn bitterness into compassion, how to turn loss into gratitude, how to turn fear into faith. And that is what growth looks like. It is not about avoiding the fire. It is about learning how to walk through it without losing your soul. You may be bruised, but you are not broken. You may be tired, but you are not done. The fact that you can feel pain is proof that you can also heal. Do not let pain make you bitter. Let it make you better. There is a divine lesson hidden in every heartache. You just have to be still long enough to hear it. There will come a day when the pain that once made you cry will make you grateful, because it led you to a strength you didn't know you had. It showed you who your true friends were. It taught you what really matters. It reminded you that life is precious, fragile, and worth fighting for. So hold your head high even when it aches. Stand tall even when your knees shake. You are not the same person you were before the pain. You are wiser, softer, stronger, and more beautiful because of it. Pain invites us to feel deeply. It connects us to humanity. It reminds us that we are alive. Without pain, we would not understand joy. Without darkness, we would not recognize light. Without loss, we would not appreciate love. So when you go through hard seasons, remember that life is not punishing you. It is preparing you to carry more light, more grace, more purpose. The struggle is sacred. It is molding you into the version of yourself that can handle the blessings you have been praying for. And even though you may not understand why certain things happened, you must trust that nothing was wasted. Every tear watered the soil of your growth. Every heartbreak softened the ground of your soul so new life could take root. Pain is not random. It is a messenger. It is a teacher. It is an opportunity to rise. You are not weak for feeling it. You are brave for facing it. You are courageous for surviving it. You are wise for learning from it. And you are powerful for transforming it into purpose. So the next time life hurts, whisper to yourself, this is not the end of me. This is the making of me. Because it is. Pain is not proof that you are weak. It is proof that you are growing into the person you were always meant to be. It is the sacred evidence that transformation is happening inside you. Growth does not come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in challenge. But inside that challenge is your awakening. Inside that ache is your evolution. Inside that storm is your strength being born again, piece by piece, day by day, becoming something divine. Healing does not erase the past, it transforms the meaning of it. My dear friends, there are moments in life when we wish we could simply forget, erase, and wipe away the pain that once lived in our hearts. We dream of waking up one morning without the memories that haunt us, without the mistakes that shame us, without the faces that remind us of what we lost. But healing does not work that way. Healing is not a magic trick. It is a sacred transformation. It does not delete what happened. It teaches you how to see it differently. Healing changes the story you tell yourself about your pain. It takes what once felt like a curse and turns it into wisdom. It takes what broke you and teaches you how to rise from it with grace. Many people believe that healing means pretending the past never happened, but that is not healing. That is denial. True healing does not ask you to forget. It asks you to understand. It does not ask you to erase. It asks you to embrace. Because when you finally face your past without fear, when you can look at your scars without flinching, you will realize that those scars are not signs of your weakness. They are proof that you survived. They are the map of where you have been and the story of how far you have come. And when you carry them with pride, instead of shame, you begin to live free. The past is a teacher, not a prison. It is there to show you what you needed to learn, not to chain you to what you cannot change. Too many of us replay the old stories in our minds, what went wrong, who hurt us, what we lost, and we let those memories shape our worth. But you are not what happened to you. You are what you became because of it. Healing begins when you stop letting your past define your future. It begins when you decide that you will no longer be the victim of your story, but the author of it. You cannot rewrite what happened, but you can rewrite what it means to you. That is the miracle of healing. It gives new meaning to old wounds. Think about the butterfly. It was once a caterpillar crawling slowly through the dirt. If you looked at it then, you might not have imagined its beauty. The caterpillar had to go into the darkness of the cocoon, where it was broken down completely before it could be transformed. It did not erase its old form, it evolved from it. That is what healing does. It does not erase who you were. It allows you to become more of who you truly are. The cocoon moments of your life, the seasons of pain, the nights of tears, those are not the end of your story. They are the process of becoming. There are people who carry their past like heavy stones, burdened by guilt, regret, and shame. They believe that to heal means to act as if those stones never existed. But the truth is, healing means learning how to build something beautiful out of them. It means taking the stones that once weighed you down and using them to lay the foundation of your future. It means saying, yes, that happened. Yes, it hurt. But it also made me wiser, kinder, stronger. Healing is not about erasing your past. It is about redeeming it. It is about finding the purpose in what once felt like pain. You see, life has a way of teaching us through contrast. You understand joy because you have known sorrow. You value peace because you have lived through chaos. You appreciate love because you have felt heartbreak. The past is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. And healing is the process of making peace with that teacher. It is about sitting with your memories and saying, I no longer hate you. I see what you came to teach me. When you do that, you free yourself from bitterness. You stop bleeding from old wounds and start blossoming from them instead. There will be moments when the past comes back to visit you, not to hurt you, but to test your healing. It will whisper old stories in your ear, trying to see if you still believe them. When that happens, remind yourself of how far you have come. Remind yourself that you are not that same person anymore. The situation may have been the same, but you have grown. Your understanding has deepened. Your heart has expanded. You can now look at the same pain and see a different meaning. That is healing, when the same memory no longer breaks you, but builds you. Healing transforms the meaning of your wounds. It takes you from asking, "Why did this happen to me?" to saying, "What did this come to teach me?" That shift in perspective is the birth of wisdom. You begin to see that the people who hurt you were also broken in their own ways. You start to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness is not about excusing the pain. It is about releasing yourself from it. It is the key that unlocks your freedom. And that freedom is what healing feels like. Sometimes the hardest part of healing is accepting that you cannot change what happened. You cannot undo the betrayal, the loss, the mistakes, or the pain. But you can change how you carry it. You can decide that it will no longer be a weight on your shoulders, but a lesson in your soul. Healing means you stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Thank you for the growth." It is not easy to reach that place, but when you do, you will find peace where pain once lived. You will smile at the very memories that once made you cry, not because they didn't hurt, but because they no longer control you. There is beauty in remembering without pain. There is freedom in revisiting your past without reliving it. When healing begins to bloom inside you, you start to see your story through eyes of compassion. You start to understand that every chapter had a reason, even the dark ones. Without those chapters, you would not have the strength, the depth, the empathy that you have now. Healing transforms your story from tragedy to triumph. It turns your pain into purpose. It turns your wounds into wisdom. It turns your past into power. I have seen people who tried to bury their past thinking it would disappear. But buried pain does not die. It waits. It waits for the right moment to resurface, asking to be acknowledged, asking to be healed. You cannot outrun your story, but you can outgrow it. You can face it, hold it, and say, "I accept you." When you do that, you take back your power. Because healing is not forgetting. It is reclaiming the parts of yourself you lost to the pain. It is remembering who you were before the world told you otherwise. It is returning to yourself. When you heal, your perspective changes. The things that once broke you now remind you of your resilience. The pain that once silenced you now gives you a voice. The moments that once made you question your worth now make you grateful for your strength. Healing transforms your relationship with your past. It does not make it disappear, but it helps you carry it with grace. It helps you honor it as part of your becoming. You begin to see that everything, even the hurt, served a purpose. You would not be who you are without it. Sometimes healing comes slowly. It is not a straight road. There are days when you feel strong and other days when the memories sting again. That is okay. Healing is not about perfection, it is about progression. Every time you choose peace over pain, forgiveness over anger, hope over despair, you are healing. Every time you refuse to let the past define you, you are growing. Healing is the quiet revolution of the heart. It happens not in grand gestures, but in small moments, when you choose to breathe, to stay, to believe again. Healing also teaches you to honor your pain without worshiping it. You learn that it shaped you, but it does not have to control you. You can carry the lessons without carrying the weight. You can hold the memories without holding the suffering. The moment you realize that, you reclaim your freedom. You stop being a prisoner of what was, and you start living in what is. Healing gives you permission to love yourself again, even the broken parts, even the parts you once tried to hide. There will always be traces of the past in you. The goal is not to erase them, but to live with them peacefully, like an old song that once made you cry, now making you smile because you survived it. Healing is that shift from tears to gratitude, from pain to peace. And in that shift, you discover the beauty of being human. You realize that your story, with all its imperfections, is sacred, that nothing was wasted, that even your scars are holy. They remind you of where you've been and how you rose from it all. So, my friends, healing does not erase the past. It redeems it. It gives new life to old pain. It transforms the way you see yourself and the world around you. It teaches you that the past is not something to run from, but something to learn from. You begin to understand that every experience, no matter how painful, added a brushstroke to the masterpiece that is your life. Healing does not take away your story. It gives you the strength to tell it with love instead of sorrow. And when you can do that, you will see that the past was never your prison. It was your passage toward becoming who you were always meant to be. You are not defined by what broke you, but by what you chose to become after. There comes a time in every soul's journey when life delivers a blow so deep, so sudden, that it feels as if the ground has disappeared beneath your feet. The people you trusted may have betrayed you. The dreams you built may have crumbled. The love you gave may have been taken for granted. And in those moments, you begin to wonder who you are without the things that once made you feel whole. But hear me when I tell you, what happened to you is not who you are. The pain, the loss, the heartbreak, they are chapters in your story, not the title of it. You are not the wound, you are the healing. You are not the fall, you are the rise that came after. Life will break you, sometimes more than once. It will test you, stretch you, strip you of everything you thought you needed. It will leave you standing in the ruins of what used to be, asking questions with no answers. But it is in that emptiness where your becoming begins. When everything familiar has fallen away, you are forced to look inward, to discover the part of you that cannot be broken, that unshakable spirit, that divine spark within you. It is your true identity. The storm may have shaken your surface, but it cannot touch your essence. You are made of something eternal, something unbreakable. What breaks around you cannot destroy what was placed within you. There is a sacred strength that grows in the aftermath of pain. When you have been knocked down and you rise again, you become something the world cannot easily define. You become resilient, compassionate, and wise. You begin to see that every ending carries within it the seed of a new beginning. The very thing that tried to destroy you becomes the reason you discovered your power. You realize that your scars are not ugly. They are beautiful because they tell the story of your survival. They are reminders that even in your darkest hour, you chose to get back up. You chose to keep loving. You chose to keep living. That choice defines you far more than the pain ever could. There are people who let their pain become their identity. They introduce themselves through their wounds. They live their lives in the shadow of what broke them. But you, my dear, are called to something higher. You are called to transformation. What happened to you may explain your pain, but it does not define your potential. The things that hurt you may have shaped you, but they did not set your limits. The world may have tried to tell you that you are broken, but God says you are being rebuilt. And what He rebuilds, He makes stronger. You were never meant to remain where you fell. You were meant to rise from it with new wisdom, new courage, and a deeper understanding of your worth. The human spirit is a mystery. It bends, but it does not break. It bleeds, but it does not die. It may be scared, but it is never defeated. Every time life knocks you down, it also offers you the chance to rise as someone new. You can choose to become bitter, or you can choose to become better. You can choose to carry the weight of your wounds, or you can choose to carry the wisdom they brought you. You can choose to be defined by what was done to you, or you can choose to be defined by what you became after. That choice is your freedom. That choice is your rebirth. When I say you are not defined by what broke you, I mean that you are more than your suffering. You are more than your heartbreak. You are more than your mistakes. You are the strength that carried you through it all. You are the grace that refused to give up. You are the love that still beats within your chest despite the pain you've known. The things that broke you tried to convince you that you were not enough, but the fact that you are still standing proves otherwise. You are enough. You have always been enough. The breaking did not take that away. It revealed it. There is a sacred beauty in resilience. It is not loud or boastful, it is quiet and steady. It is the kind of strength that does not need to prove itself, because it has already survived the unimaginable. You see it in the person who smiles again after heartbreak, in the one who forgives after betrayal, in the one who loves again after loss. That is the kind of strength that transforms pain into power. You may have been broken open, but that opening allowed light to enter. You may have fallen, but that fall taught you how to rise with grace. You may have lost, but that loss taught you what truly matters. Sometimes we look at the people who hurt us and think they took something from us, our innocence, our peace, our joy. But the truth is, they only took the things that were never meant to last. What's real in you, what's divine in you, cannot be stolen. The fire inside you may have been dimmed, but it can never be extinguished. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every betrayal, it all becomes the raw material for your growth. You take it, you reshape it. You use it to build something beautiful. Because you are not the pain that happened, you are the power that rose from it. When you choose to rise above what broke you, you begin to see life through a new lens. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? You stop blaming and start building. You stop seeing yourself as a victim and start walking as a survivor. That shift is where transformation lives. That is where your true self emerges, not in comfort, not in ease, but in the decision to rise. You do not need the world's approval to rebuild. You do not need validation from those who misunderstood your pain. You only need your own willingness to start again, to trust again, to believe again. There is no shame in being broken. There is only shame in believing that brokenness is the end. The cracks in you are not signs of failure. They are proof that you have lived, that you have loved, that you have felt deeply. And in those cracks, light finds its way in. What defines you is not that you were hurt, but that you kept your heart open despite the hurt. It takes courage to love again after pain. It takes strength to dream again after disappointment. It takes faith to hope again after loss. But that is who you are: courageous, strong, faithful. You are not defined by what broke you, but by what you chose to become after. There will always be people who only remember your fall. They will talk about your mistakes, your failures, your pain. Let them. You are not here to convince anyone of your worth. You are here to live it. You are here to embody it. Let your growth speak louder than their gossip. Let your peace speak louder than their noise. You are not the same person you were before the pain. You are wiser now, softer, more compassionate, more aware. Pain has a way of polishing the soul, and those who have suffered often carry a radiance that no easy life could ever produce. That radiance is you. That light is your proof that what broke you did not win. You have the power to redefine every part of your story. You have the power to take what hurt you and turn it into something sacred. When people look at you, they should not see the pain that happened. They should see the grace that came after. Your life becomes a living testimony that beauty can rise from ashes, that peace can be born from pain, that strength can grow from suffering. You may have walked through fire, but now you shine because of it. You may have been broken, but now you are whole in a way you never were before. Because healing is not about going back to who you were. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. Sometimes you have to lose everything you thought you needed to discover what you truly have. Sometimes you have to be broken open to discover what's inside. The breaking is not punishment, it's preparation. Life removes what you thought you couldn't live without so that you can learn to live with what truly matters. Your peace, your purpose, your truth. What broke you was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you. You are not who you were before the pain, and thank God for that. You have evolved. You have grown. You have become more of yourself. If you look closely, you will see that every person you admire has a story of breaking and becoming. They all walked through valleys, faced storms, endured nights of doubt and tears. But they did not stop there. They rose, they transformed, they chose to become more. That is what greatness looks like. It is born out of the ashes of pain. You do not become strong by avoiding life. You become strong by facing it, by enduring it, by learning from it. Your pain was not wasted. It has made you someone who understands life in a way only the broken and rebuilt can. So, when you look at your reflection, do not see what was taken from you. See what was left behind. The wisdom, the courage, the resilience, the grace. The quiet strength that keeps you moving forward even when no one sees your struggle. You are the evidence of your own healing. You are living proof that it is possible to rise again, to rebuild again, to love again. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are medals of survival. Wear them proudly, for they tell the story of who you have become. You are not the darkness you endured. You are the light that refused to die in it. You are not the pain you felt. You are the peace you chose afterward. You are not the mistakes you made. You are the lessons you learned. Life will continue to test you, but now you know who you are. You know that no matter what happens, you will not be defined by it. You will rise through it. You will grow from it. You will become something beautiful because of it. That is the power of choice. The power to define yourself not by your wounds, but by your will to heal. And that power has always been yours. It has always lived within you, waiting for the moment you decide to rise.